The Breathing Bogs. I promised to revisit the infinite wonder of an Ethan summer, but for now, we might talk about something else for a while. Luckily for us, in Ethan there are all manner of things. For example, it is a point of confusion sometimes for outsiders in the consideration of humanoid animals. Let's say there are 3 leopards. One leopard walks on 2 feet, wears trousers, and works as a lifeguard at a local pond. He likes sailing and miniature figurines. The second, like the first, can speak the way I do, but wears only his pelt and runs on 4 legs, preferring to live in a den in the wild. The third, unlike the first 2, cannot speak like us, or at least chooses not to. We'll never know. And never makes close relations with humans, but hunts rabbits and mountain goats, the moon their only midnight companion. All 3 exist readily in Ethan, with each type of animal, as a general rule, of course. I have not explored this with every type of animal in the world. There are far too many to ever complete that handbook. But the question of what each leopard is may elude us, and that is all right. It should not present more an issue than some circular conversation on occasion. That is to ask, is the first leopard a man? The second? Or are they all leopards? My solution generally is just to ask. Conclusively, however, we are all citizens of Ethan. And this hypothetical has not even covered those leopards with human fingers and toes, or who only have a leopard head and human bodies. That being said, here on the edge of the Great Valley, there are many frogs and toads. Mostly toads, but many of both. There are comparatively fewer bogfrogs, as we call them. Bogfrogs are frogs. They are also people, who live in the glorious expansive bogs and swamps down south of the rivers that lick the base of the mountain range that divides the sunny basin and the meadows where the elves live. If you venture past the fertile fields of shining river streams, the moss turns thick and dark, the trees shorten and fortify, sprouting closer and closer together as the water of the breathing bog slows and goes green in the bubbling, humid swamp. There is an ocean of rising and falling islands, which drift with the brown water amongst floating ivy and lilies, bound together by trees with skirts lifted, revealing powerful spindly roots, saturated with rich swamp water, like window slats in front of the flickering amber lights of the candles and cook fires held by bog frogs, hunched around mushroom tables, stewing for supper bricks of baked muck, and clumped together long strands of algae like noodles. There in the breathing bogs, which are named for the heave of the ground, that inflates like a leather fire stoker, then sinks like a sigh, the narrow paths of packed earth are lit by fire-belly toads, whose bright ribbit shines like a lantern, and paints their spots on the trees. Flies, fat and well-fed, buzz their songs as they circle each other in tight clouds all just above your head, as you walk the labyrinth of shifting islands, or float down the appearing and reappearing canals between them. See, the bog frogs love the breathing bog, but their only choice is to love it all, as the islands and the paths that lead from them change by the day and night. They may say, I am from this island, or that, but like a shifting, unsolvable puzzle, they cannot say from where they are. The breathing bog has mapped limits, but its annals cannot be charted. I delight in the idea of new neighbors each morning upon waking, new friends to share tea and time with. The breathing bog is full of mushrooms and fungi too, and a veritable paradise for people like Abby, who I must admit told me most of my knowledge of the place from her travels in search of ingredients. On the trees the fungus grows like shingles, but to the mushroom fairies that live on them, they are like decks overlooking the bog boats that swish through the flowery, green, mossy water with rickety lanterns swinging off the back. And if you don't like boats, you can catch a turtle-shell ferry and have them take you this way or that. But direction confounds its rigid self and all its rules when your compass points north to home, when you've only just come from south. Not even the stars betray the mysterious layout of the bog, By nighttime the place is thick with fog, and loud with the croak of toad, frog, bird, and whine of mosquito and insect. The sky is illegible even to the most learned of astronomers, as even if eyes could pierce the haze, the treetops are wrapped in blankets of hanging gray woven moss that sways with the wind. The Breathing Bog is a place unknowable to direction. To leave, you must only walk the direction of home. And farewell will say the fire-belly toads as they light the narrow damp path, and the squishy steps you take will alarm the bogfrogs in their hollowed trees and bellowing huts with insulating mud and pluming smoke from cozy hearths. The algae-bearded twig creatures may cross your beeline with their meandering wander, as the clouds of gnats and flies thin, and soon the banks clear, the sky opens back up, and the water becomes crystal from emerald. The edges no longer crust with clinging snails, and the rosalki sing to lure you in to swim with them, which you will when you hear their alluring laughs and see their beauty. There at the threshold, and yes, it will be obvious to you when exactly you've left the Breathing Bog, is the best fishing you'll find this side of the yonder mountains. Freshwater, of course. There the trout, rainbow, and brook leap up to catch your worm before it touches the water to avoid competition with the sunfish and catfish. But they are all happy to be caught and have a chat on the shoreline until they run out of breath or begin to dry in the sun.